What if everything you think you know about genius is wrong? What if the straight line from problem to solution, the myth of the lone inventor toiling deliberately toward a eureka moment, is just that a myth? What if instead, the very fabric of our modern world was woven not by meticulous design, but by a series of spectacular stumbles, glorious mistakes, and pure, unadulterated chance? Imagine this. A frustrated scientist, years into a dead-end project, goes on vacation, comes back to a messy lab, and in his neglect, saves 200 million lives. Picture an engineer, bothered by a simple annoyance after a walk in the woods, peering through a microscope and seeing the blueprint for a fastener that would circle the globe. Envision a man with a melted chocolate bar in his pocket, sparking a kitchen revolution. This isn't fantasy. This is history. The story of human progress is littered with happy accidents. Today, we dive deep into the astonishing, tangled, and utterly human truth behind 7 of history's most pivotal discoveries. These are the moments where luck met preparation, where a wandering mind found something it wasn't looking for, and in doing so, changed everything. This is the Happy Accident Hall of Fame. Before we meet our accidental geniuses, let's understand the force at play: serendipity. The word itself comes from a Persian fairy tale, the 3 Princes of Serendip, heroes who were always making fortunate discoveries by chance and sagacity. It's not just dumb luck. It's a specific alchemy, an unexpected event meeting a prepared, observant, and open mind. It's the aha moment that arrives when you're looking somewhere else entirely. For centuries, we've romanticized invention as a bolt of lightning from the blue. But more often, it's a slow smolder from a spark no one meant to strike. The scientist Louis Pasteur famously said, "Chance favors only the prepared mind," he would know. His work in microbiology was paved with unexpected turns. In our modern age of rigorous research and development, of billion-dollar labs and structured experimentation, we might think the age of accidental discovery is over, but is it? Or are we just less open to the detours? To appreciate the answer, let's travel back to a musty laboratory in London, post-World War I, where a man with a notoriously untidy workspace was about to make a mess that would alter the course of human history. Alexander Fleming was a Scotsman with a sharp mind and, by all accounts, a disorganized lab at St. Mary's Hospital in London. It was September 1928. Fleming, a bacteriologist, had been investigating Staphylococcus, the bacteria that cause nasty infections. Before leaving for a family vacation to the countryside, he stacked a bunch of his used Petri dishes, cultures of the bacteria, in a tray of disinfectant to be cleaned. Or so he thought. When he returned weeks later, he sorted through the pile. One dish, apparently missed by the Lysol, caught his eye. It was contaminated. A blue-green mold, later identified as Penicillin notatum, was growing. But here was the miracle. In a perfect, clear circle around the mold colony, the Staphylococcus bacteria had been dissolved, gone. The mold was secreting something that killed the bacteria dead. Fleming's genius wasn't in creating this mold. It was in noticing it. A neater scientist would have tossed the contaminated dish without a second glance. But Fleming saw the profound implication. He later wrote, "When I woke up just after dawn on September 28, 1928, I certainly didn't plan to revolutionize all medicine by discovering the world's first antibiotic. But I guess that was exactly what I did." He named the active substance penicillin, but his journey wasn't over. He struggled for years to isolate and stabilize the compound in large enough quantities to be useful. He published his findings, but the world largely shrugged. Penicillin sat on the shelf, a fascinating curiosity, for over a decade. The catalyst for its rise? The horrific wounds and rampant infections of World War II. A team at Oxford University, led by Howard Florey and Ernst Chain, desperately dug up Fleming's old paper. They pioneered the mass production and purification process, turning a laboratory observation into a medical miracle. By D-Day in 1944, enough penicillin was produced to treat every Allied soldier with an infection. It's estimated to have saved over 200 million lives since. And it all began because a lab assistant left a window open. A stray mold spore floated in, and a perceptive man came back from a holiday. From a world-changing antibiotic to a humble office essential, our next accident proves that revolutionary ideas can be quiet and sticky. Our setting shifts to the corporate labs of 3 meters in Minnesota in the late 1960s. Chemist Dr. Spencer Silver was given a mission: create a super-strong permanent adhesive for the aerospace industry. Instead, in 1968, he created a dud. His new adhesive was weak. It was pressure-sensitive, formed tiny spheres that wouldn't spread, and could be peeled away without leaving a residue. It stuck, but not permanently. It was, in the context of his goal, a complete failure. For 5 years, Silver became a corporate evangelist for his solution without a problem, giving seminars within 3 meters trying to find a use for his low-tack glue. He called it a reusable pressure-sensitive adhesive. Everyone else called it useless. Enter Art Fry, another 3 meters scientist and a singer in his church choir. Fry had a perpetual annoyance. The paper bookmarks in his hymnal kept falling out. During a particularly dull sermon in 1974, the idea struck him. He remembered Silver's weird, semi-sticky glue. What if you could coat a piece of paper with it? You could stick the note to the page and remove it without damage. Fry began prototyping in secret, using 3 meters' permitted bootlegging policy that allowed scientists to spend 15% of their time on personal projects. The first notes were canary yellow because the lab next door had scrap yellow paper. The initial market tests in 1977 were a disaster. People didn't understand what they were for. Then, a marketing genius had an idea: the Boise Blitz. They flooded the offices of Boise, Idaho with free samples. Once people used them, the addiction was instant. They came back demanding more. The Post-it note wasn't a flash of insight solving a known problem. It was a failed adhesive for one domain, aerospace, meeting a minor personal frustration, falling bookmarks, in a culture, 3M, that allowed for such connections to be made. Today, it's a billion-dollar product, a staple of global communication, born from a glue that wasn't sticky enough. Now let's talk about an accident you can literally taste. It's 1945. World War II is ending. Percy Spencer, a self-taught engineer with a brilliant mind, is working for Raytheon, a defense contractor. He's deeply involved with magnetrons, the high-powered vacuum tubes that generate microwave radio signals for radar systems, a crucial wartime technology. One day, while standing near an active powered-up radar set, Spencer felt a strange sensation. Then, he discovered the peanut bar in his pocket had turned into a gooey mess. Intrigued, he sent an assistant for a bag of popcorn kernels. Holding them near the magnetron, they popped instantly, scattering across the lab. The next experiment was more dramatic. He tried to cook an egg. It exploded in the face of a curious colleague. Spencer's mind made the leap instantly. These microwaves, used to detect enemy planes, could also agitate water, fat, and sugar molecules in food, creating rapid, intense heat. He fashioned a metal box, fed microwave power into it, and created the world's first microwave oven. Raytheon patented it in 1946. The first commercial model, the Ratarange, was a monster, nearly 6 feet tall, weighing 750 pounds, costing over $5,000 in today's money, and requiring plumbing for cooling. It was sold to restaurants and railroads. The domestic revolution took longer. It wasn't until the 1960s, with cheaper, smaller magnetrons, that countertop models became feasible. By the 1970s, they were a kitchen staple. Percy Spencer, who held over 150 patents, saw his accidental discovery transform domestic life worldwide. From military radar to defrosting dinner in minutes, All because a man felt his candy bar melt and dared to ask, why? Our next discovery allowed us to see the unseen, to peer inside the living human body without a single cut. It begins in a darkened laboratory in Würzburg, Germany. In 1895, physicist Wilhelm Conrad Röntgen is experimenting with cathode ray tubes, sealed glass tubes, with most of the air pumped out, through which an electric current is passed. He's particularly interested in the mysterious glowing rays they emit, which can make certain chemicals fluoresce. To study them, he darkens the room and wraps his tube in thick black cardboard to block all visible light. During one experiment, he notices a faint greenish glow coming from a bench several feet away. On it is a screen coated with barium platinocyanide, a fluorescent material. This is impossible. No known rays from the tube could travel that far through air, let alone through the black cardboard. Röntgen is captivated. He spends the next 7 weeks feverishly experimenting in secret. He finds these unknown rays, he calls them X-rays. X for unknown, pass through wood, paper, even thin metal. But they are partially blocked by denser materials, like lead or bone. The defining moment comes when he persuades his wife, Anna Bertha, to place her hand in the path of the rays over a photographic plate. After a 15-minute exposure, the developed plate reveals the bones of her hand, her flesh a ghostly shadow, and the clear, dark outline of her wedding ring. She is reportedly horrified, exclaiming, "I have seen my death." But Röntgen sees the future of medicine. He publishes his findings just before Christmas 1895. The world goes wild. Within months, doctors are using X-rays to locate bullets and set broken bones. Within a year, the first medical X-ray department is established. Röntgen, a man of integrity, refused to patent his discovery, believing it should belong to all humanity. He won the first Nobel Prize in Physics in 1901, all because he noticed a faint glow on a distant bench that, by all rights, should have remained dark. After peering into the body, let's return to the great outdoors for an invention inspired by a walk. It's 1941. Swiss electrical engineer Georges de Mestral is hiking in the Jura Mountains with his dog. Upon returning, both he and the dog are covered in sticky burrs from the burdock plant. Annoyed, most of us would just pick them off. But de Mestral, an engineer and a keen observer of nature, gets curious. Why do they cling so tenaciously? He puts one under his microscope. What he sees is a masterpiece of natural engineering. Each burr is covered in hundreds of tiny hooks. These hooks effortlessly snag onto the tiny loops in the fabric of his wool socks and his dog's fur. Idea is born. Could this hook and loop principle be replicated synthetically as a new kind of fastener? It took him 8 years of struggle. Textile experts laughed at him. He had to first design a loom that could weave the tiny, stiff hooks. Nylon, newly invented, proved to be the perfect material, durable and flexible. He finally perfected it and patented Velcro in 1955, a portmanteau of the French velours, velvet, and crochet, hook. Its big break came from an unexpected place, the aerospace industry. NASA loved it for securing items in zero gravity. From there, it filtered down to ski wear, scuba gear, and eventually children's shoes, becoming one of the most recognizable fasteners on the planet. No complex equations, no corporate R&D budget, just a man, his dog, a pesky weed, and the patience to look closer. Our penultimate discovery is a powerful reminder that sometimes the answer arrives while you're asking a completely different question. The 1990s. Pharmaceutical giant Pfizer is running clinical trials in the UK on a new compound called sildenafil citrate. Its target? Angina pectoris, severe chest pain caused by heart disease. The theory was that sildenafil would relax blood vessels, increasing blood flow to the heart. The trials, however, were disappointing for angina. But researchers began hearing consistent, unexpected feedback from the male participants. They were reporting a notable and quite specific side effect: sustained and frequent erections. The drug was indeed dilating blood vessels, but its most potent effect was happening in a very different vascular area. Pfizer, to its credit, pivoted with agility. They shifted their entire focus. New trials were established for erectile dysfunction, a condition that was often stigmatized and had few effective oral treatments. In 1998, the FDA approved Viagra, and it became a global phenomenon overnight. It wasn't just a new drug. It revolutionized the conversation around men's sexual health, breaking taboos and generating billions. A failed heart medication found its monumental purpose by listening to what the patients were actually experiencing, not what the researchers hoped to see. 7 discoveries. 7 accidents. From mold to microwaves, from weak glue to powerful pills. What threads connect them? First, the obvious, chance. But second, and more crucially, a specific mindset in the person who witnessed the accident. It's a mindset of deep curiosity over dismissiveness. Fleming, Rankin, de Mestral, they all asked, "Why is this happening?" instead of, "How do I fix this nuisance?" It's a mindset of flexibility. Spencer and the Pfizer team were willing to abandon their original goal and follow the evidence down a new, unexpected path. And it's a mindset nurtured by environment. 3 meters as 15% time policy literally created the space for Art Fry to connect silver just glue to his hymnal. Is this era over? Absolutely not. The pace of discovery has accelerated. The COVID-19 mRNA vaccines, for instance, are the result of decades of foundational research that often followed curious, unexpected pathways. The key is to preserve and encourage the conditions for serendipity, open-ended exploration, interdisciplinary collaboration, tolerance for failed results, and above all, the cultivation of that prepared, observant, and wondrously curious mind. So the next time you make a mistake, spill something, or take a wrong turn, pause for a second. Look at it with new eyes. You're standing in the same spot as Fleming, Silver, and Spencer. You're holding a potential detour that might just lead to a better destination. The world we live in, a world of healed infections, instant notes, quick meals, medical imaging, simple fasteners, and improved lives, is profoundly shaped by these happy accidents. They remind us that progress is not a straight line. It's a wonderfully messy human dance with chance. We want to hear from you. Which of these accidental discoveries most shocks or delights you? Have you ever had a happy accident that led to a personal breakthrough, big or small? Share your stories in the comments below. Let's celebrate the beautiful detours. And as you go about your week, stay curious. Stay open. The next world-changing accident might not happen in a distant lab. It might be happening right now in your kitchen, your workshop, or your own wandering thoughts. You just have to be prepared to see it. Subscribe for more journeys into the unexpected stories behind our world. Because history isn't just written by the victors. It's written by the observant, the adaptable, and the gloriously, accidentally brilliant.